Hey everybody, Rosemary here, and welcome to part 6 of my Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Let's Play. In the last episode, we learned quite a bit more information, including the identity of the speckled band. It turns out that it's a cat toy. The ballerina's pet is not the snake that I thought it was. It turns out it's a cat. The cat apparently got into Kazuma's cabin, scared him, caused him to trip and fall and die, but facts aren't adding up. The fact that he apparently died immediately, but then how would he have time to write that message with the ink? Things aren't adding up, and Susato caught on to that as well, and she thinks the ballerina is not telling us everything. It seems at a glance that it was all just an accident, but doesn't seem that way, so we're going to get back into it, and we're going to find out the truth about this case. Alright, yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. Alright. So part of me's thinking it's the crime scene photograph, but let's look through it and see what else there is here. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead with the crime scene photograph and see if that's what it is. Yes! The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. I don't know if she has something to do with this or if she's covering for somebody. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry? What do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message. Alright, here's where we get into the whole fact about how he died instantly. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Oh. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. Now, Hosonaga, you're supposed to be like this investigator, like, you know, nothing against you, but I'm surprised that you didn't pick up on that. Susato did. But you didn't. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. Alright, that's gotta be the bell, right? What? So, Susato-san has noticed it too, then. Alright, putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Oh, okay. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words, okay. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, the piece of small glass. Okay, because at first I was like, oh no, is it just the mark on the floor? But no, there's the glass right there. Although, let me look through. I'm pretty sure that's what it's gonna be. Yeah, alright, let's present that. Yes! This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Then again, Hosonaga could just be blinded because he apparently is a fan of this ballerina. Unfortunately, there is a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's what really happened... Yes, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin if it's a locked room? Not so locked. Oh, Yes, remember, we found the other half of the glass bell in that wastepaper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asoki died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth. Oh, she made it look like it was... Yeah, because it's weird, like, why would... If she was trying to, like, you know, get rid of evidence, why did she only take half of it? In order to cover up his or her own guilt. Alright, what's up with this girl? Like, why would you have any reason to do that? Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's. You are wasting time. This guy has something to do with this. Someone else was there? Duh, of course. We know this. It's like he's covering up for her and maybe she's covering up for him? I don't know. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. Oh, this is when we can talk about how, like, it slid open. We know this. And only other person in cabin when young student died was you. Yes. It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Yeah, and why would I point towards where I'm hiding? That's stupid. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Ah ha ha ha. Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence it would show how Mr. Asoki really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken... Yes! Why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder, then, that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. Is that really the case, or is there another reason? You all suspect me, don't you? Seaman Stroganov. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills, and she went away to join ballet company. Oh, so she's connected to... Oh, that's why they're all covering for her. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is all most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Alright, yes, now we can get into this. Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina. Not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Niet. It's impossible. Ugh, he's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches, so they can open and close them from the outside. Didn't Ryu say that to her? Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so wow, throw me under the bus, Susato. Susato-san, how could you shift it onto me like that? So, Seaman Stroganov has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind being used before. I don't believe it. Okay, let's get into this. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't. Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Okay. Alright, so where's our proof of that? Indeed we have, so would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Alright, point out the telling sign of the method it was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. Oh. Well, I know, like, the books were tipped over, right? On both of the, but I don't know if that's necessarily, like, we know the things slide. I'm just gonna pick the bookcase, because I'm like, I don't know what else to pick here.
Yes.
Oh, it was right. Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yeah, so, like, what caused that to happen? They said something, yeah, something from the outside, right? Like a... That's right, it's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. But then they go into the whole thing about, like, if there was such a violent jolt that opened up the lock, but nobody remembers that happening. And I'm guessing they all got, like, knocked out, because they're all talking about how their head hurts the next day, so maybe everybody in the cabin was knocked out with, like, food or something to put them to sleep. So this was premeditated. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book, at least? She's like Wikipedia before Wikipedia existed. She's like Google before Google. Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. Oh! It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Hello? Is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Oh, yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say the last night, after Misosoki was killed? Now, here's the thing. Was that pre-planned? Did whoever killed him plan on that happening to create a locked room situation? Or was that just an accident? The SS Borea made another emergency stop. I'm guessing somebody on the ship with the power to be able to make an emergency stop did that on purpose to shut the door. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over. And all the ornaments. And everyone's gonna be like, why doesn't anybody remember that emergency stop? It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asaki's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Borea made emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Oh, it's simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Oh yes, used to trigger the emergency alarm. Yeah, anyone could well, not anyone, but anyone in the first you know, first class cabin area could have done that. Oh, yes, of course. But once again, I'm guessing it was only a specific person who was able to do that, because if that was the case, everybody would have remembered that emergency alarm going off. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Oh, yeah, he's looking sus. Wait, it was you? What? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. Wait, he pressed the button? The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. That's something I could totally see Sholmes doing, just to be like, what? I'm going to press this button for the sake of, like, research and, you know, like you said, curiosity. As indeed it did a little earlier today. I don't think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was probably Stroganoff, I'm guessing, because he was the only one who was in that first cabin area that wasn't in their rooms, I'm assuming. I mean, Pavlova could have done it too if she, like, was in the room and then she, what's the word I'm thinking? Like, if she left her cabin to go into his and then back again. I'm guessing her and the Stroganoff are working together. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... Oh my god, he did? Oh my god, he did it. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay. As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed. Whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ships? So he pressed it this time. Last night, I'm guessing it was Stroganoff or Pavlova. I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact we have now learned a valuable lesson. He's like, I wasn't just being a shithead pressing the button. We got valuable information out of it. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asogi. Did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You are idiots. Boria is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Unless they were all drugged. Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes a theory some emergency gripped this vessel last night? Okay. Oh, that's right. There are no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. That's gotta be it.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganov, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? Duh, that is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine. Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But, as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase, nothing to report, every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is... Duh! Because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Alright, let's get into this. Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened, here aboard the SS Borea. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anyone would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. Maybe there was some, like, gas pumped in through all of the cabins, and maybe Nina and Stroganoff were wearing gas masks. I'm just going way out there. What of? The throbbing. Yes, yes, the headache. Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. Oh my god, am I right? I'm guessing something was either put in their food or there was a gas that was, like, pumped in through the vents. Because you can see that little, like, this little thing right here that, like, and the vents, like, they easily could have been pumping through all of the rooms. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We've all suffered with it. Oh. Oh, yes. I have had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. Alright, wow, that's... Man, that's a lot of drugs that you have to go through, because I assume you'd have to... Is it just people in the first, like, first class cabin? Or would that be everybody, like in the whole ship? I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside. I assume it would be everybody, because Susato was in the second class area. Wow, this was very premeditated. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. Oh, poor Ryo. If he hadn't eaten the food, he probably would have been fine, but he said that he ate Kazuma's scraps. But didn't he say that Kazuma didn't really eat anything? So the guy probably came in, was expecting, I say guy, it could have been Nina too, was probably expecting Kazuma to also be passed out as well. But because Kazuma didn't eat anything, he was surprised to see him awake and panicked and killed him. There was the struggle. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation don't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Oh, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Ah, Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. That's right! That's right, he did say that. So it's not that Kazuma didn't eat ever, it was just the chicken that one particular night. And maybe the person didn't even go in to, like, kill Kazuma. Maybe they went in to steal something. They got spooked by Kazuma expecting him to be asleep. There was a scuffle, and then he died. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, look at that. Sholmes is actually on the right path this time. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Oh! Oh! That's probably where they picked up Nina! That's because she's got ties with the ship, but because they needed to sneak her aboard, they probably pre-planned this, right? And they probably drugged everybody so they could make that stop and pick up Nina, and then nobody would notice that they'd even made a stop. I'm guessing that's what happened, because they're all going on about how, like, there was no stop last night. How did she get aboard? Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. Oh, it's totally what happened. Mr. Sholmes. Well, Seaman? And she isn't on it because she, like, obviously she knew what was going to happen. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And, were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals. Oh, he's going to serious mode. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Eh? I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Duh, we could not make all drug. How do you say? Dissolve? Ugh, talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. Oh, so maybe they had nothing to do with Kazuma's murder. Maybe it was someone completely different. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat. I want to believe, because I'm just like, I feel kind of bad for them, that, you know, they're just trying to help their friend, but I don't know who else it could be. I mean, it would have to have been one of the ship crew who killed Kazuma, or someone like Kazuma who didn't eat the meal. All the passengers of the SS Boreas slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But yes, there's a whole thing about her cat did get in, so... Yeah, I was like, I wonder if maybe... Because she... I'm just trying to think, who could have killed Kazuma? Like... Was this just an accident? Did he literally just trip over and they were just trying to, like, collect the pieces of, like, her cat being there to, like, you know, hide the fact she was on the ship too? How crazy would that be if literally was he just tripped over a cat and died? But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Oh, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. Actually, it's starting to look more like he's guilty. You have talked long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Yes, we're circling back to this. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragment of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know any of this. I'm just a little girl. Oh, don't play that. Don't play that. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our own eyes. A laudable trait. What? I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind? What accusatory cry of guilt? Oh, are we getting to the end of this? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. Oh, are we doing a new, mini-game here? No, you must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction. That's right, because we know that Ryunosuke has, the power of observation. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular. Yes! To expose the truth. Wow, this seems like a pretty short... Okay. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. I feel like... I mean, I know I didn't just start this, but it feels pretty short if we're coming to the end of it already. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said. Of these two prevaricators. Observation. If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Osaki's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You were delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. I'm guessing that it's the sailor who did it to cover up the fact that Nina's cat got into the area. So, I don't think the sailor killed Kazuma. It does seem like it was an accident, but they were tampering with the evidence. Alright, I'll see what I can do. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Chunky arms. Okay. Left ear. Wow. We're going into all the details. Okay. Oh! Hello. Ink stain. Boom.
Yes!
That was easy. Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Eh? Ah, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So, nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. And I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is. Oh wait, no, that's not... Yeah, there we go. Purple ink. Yeah, the other one was the shoe polish, not the ink.
Yes!
Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah. Ah, the penny drops, at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilt. All right, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. Oh! I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Boria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. Now I'm a little sus, because I'm like, the fact that he's like, I take responsibility for everything. At first I was like, that was my thought, but now the fact he admitted to it so quickly after being so stubborn, I'm like, maybe Nina has more to do with this than I thought. Maybe she was there too, and he's trying to cover it up to protect her. I know he's trying to protect her because her cat caused the death, but now I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like there's more to it than that. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. Yeah, I feel like she had more to this. Yeah. She must have I'm guessing she was in the cabin too to go get her cat back. I'm guessing they were both in the cabin together. And then she would see the significance of the broken bell, so she picked it up. So they were probably both in there. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Or maybe she didn't go in. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on floor. So it was, yeah, it was... Jeez, Kazuma, brought down by a kitten. Oh, that's tragic. What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. This seems too soon. There's got to be something else. This is wrapping up too quickly. I refuse to buy it. Yes, that is right. There's like 3 more twists I feel like this should be happening. So after the incident, when the cat ran away... Oh yeah, right, they still gotta find the cat. Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers. Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. What if they took the cat away and be like, lock up that cat, murderer? She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel. The door was not locked. So she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, Susato's like, I still have questions. She's the one who led us down this path in the first place. Let's trust what she's got to say. What? When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Oh, shit! Wow, she's straight up... Whoa! She is straight up, like, accusing her of killing him. Why? Wow, I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside, I was asking Miss Pavlova, hey, didn't Biff say that he only trusts what his eyes can see, right? So he locked... But in this case, he's not really. He's trusting what she had to say. He didn't see the moment she died. Or, he died, I should say. Oh, I love it. Susato is on a warpath for her friend. Well, Miss Pavlova? Duh. Oh. Yes, that is right. It took her a long time to respond, though. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. Oh, okay. So, is that finally it now? No, of course not. Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? No, we have not. Nope. Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. Alright, good job. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there's one particular area in this photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural. Oh, okay. Yes, we're not done yet. What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well, I have no idea what he's talking about. Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck. Which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? Well, obviously the writing, but we've already, we already know that Stroganoff wrote that. I don't know, okay, so we know, like, the finger was... He obviously used his finger to write that. I feel dumb. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh. His hand, right? If you die instantly, I assume your hand would go limp, right? Okay, let's pick that. Ah, yes, okay. Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. Yay! The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet, here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Are they... Oh my gosh, are they implying that, yeah, Nina maybe went to the room. Kazuma was not dead. Maybe they got into a scuffle. And then she killed him. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, Pavlova! You did it! You killed him! What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. Oh, shit! He was hiding in this room almost the whole time. You did? It's like he was waiting for the perfect moment. He's all about the flair. And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? So he grabs something. He grabs something as like maybe evidence or something? Show us. Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? You obviously have. You had this for how long and you didn't tell us about this? Oh, shit! Nina's earring! This is what I found. Oh my goodness. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. Damn! I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now... I can't believe it! She was missing an earring the whole time, and I never noticed that. I figured maybe that was just like her style, is just wearing one earring. Okay. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe, find the answer with your own eyes. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, here I was going back and forth on her being the culprit. That kind of cinches it, doesn't it? She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells. Oh, what's that? There's something dangling down from her ear. Kind of hard not to notice. Yes, that's an earring. Wait, look. It's a crescent moon. Oh. There can be no doubt now, surely.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. I see you have a crescent moon as well. Oh. What? And on your other ear. Oh, there seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding it must have broken, I suppose. It was just right there, staring us in the face. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Osaki must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear, perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. I'm surprised you didn't try and get it away from him. Like, she would have obviously noticed he had taken it. In other words, last night in Mr. Osaki's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Osaki do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel? No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge... that's a lot for her to deal with all in one night. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. See, here's the thing. If everybody on the ship, like all of the crewmen, were in on it, why would she be so worried about breaking the rules? Like, she broke the rules by getting onto the ship in the first place. You think that they wouldn't mind her having a cat. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy. But nothing worked. Darka would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind, and you killed him! He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Oh. Oh, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No. Oh, shit. Oh, she thought he was going to tell on her. So she killed him to silence him. No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But, what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Oh my gosh. Oh, Oh, it was all just a misunderstanding. He was gonna go get Ryunosuke, but she thought he was gonna... Oh, boy. It was all... Why did I think I could trust him? Oh my goodness. Poor Kazuma. He was just trying to do... He was trying to be so nice, and he got killed for it. Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms, and down to the young man's feet, and... As he turned around to look at me... she pushed him. I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And... I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when he went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I'll be... Please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help, and that's when you arranged things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. See, I feel worse for her than I do for Giselle, but still, it's just people, like, poor Ryunosuke, everywhere he goes he's being set up for murder. I went into cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there, and then I found Stowaway, in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote wardrobe so a person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. And tell me, what if the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. So, yeah, Sholmes was right about that. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job. by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Borea did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact you'd run away from your homeland, and it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Exactly! Maybe the captain is a new captain that she doesn't know. Why would that have been a problem? Oh, is the captain maybe her dad? It was what he said first. That made me scared. I don't know why I would assume it was her dad. It was like maybe like who's mad at her running away, because I'm just wondering like why would she be on the ship in the first place? What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, Inspector! Ah, shit. Oh. I'm sorry. Oh, God, just that slip of the tongue. Oh, just the misunderstanding. It's all very sad. Oh, Kazuma, you were too good for this world. I thought it was a friend of mine. He said an inspector was his friend. Oh, yes, meaning me. Osanaga's like, God damn it, I got another person killed. Or, like, another person, you know, is, like, having a hard time because of me. So, like, Hosonaga felt that he led to Kazuma's death. And, you know, he can't be blamed for falling asleep with that drug, but he's like, just because of the mention of my name, Kazuma got killed. who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. Oh, he's gonna feel even worse. I thought that if the police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? She's like, I'm a bitch slap you. It just doesn't seem to make sense. Really, still? I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain. But let's make her feel even worse that she had she did not need to do that at all. He was a man of his word. If he told you, he wouldn't give your secret away, and he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. I'm guessing I'm going to have to go like, no, I think what he was going to do, and then I'm probably going to point it out. It's the cabinet. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. Wow, this is wrapping up so quickly. What? Another deduction? I hope the next one is longer. Like the opening case was longer than the second one. Yes, what action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? Oh yeah, let's just really rub it in Pavlova's face that she killed him for no reason. First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. Alright, I know what it is. That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for the entire voyage. So, is this how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama? Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manners of truth. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at?
Take that!
Now, this music's so dramatic and swelling, considering everything that had happened last night. Certainly, it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Oh! Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter, to see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh, tragic. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. Is she gonna get away from, like, is that going to be two people in a row who aren't going to be punished for their crimes? What have I done? Although she is a lot more sympathetic than Giselle. If there was one person who I'd be like, alright, take it easy on her, it would be her. And so at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Borea was finally laid to rest. Wow, I can't believe how soon this is wrapping up. I mean, I guess this is the third episode of me doing this one, so it doesn't seem very long, but what will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? I don't know what that word is. I'm guessing, like, have her sent back. Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Sir Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. It makes me mad that Nina is getting more punishment than Giselle did. Giselle was 100 times worse. Like, she took glee in it. At least, you know, Nina felt general remorse. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Duh. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. No, I'm obviously going to get to Great Britain somehow. This isn't going to be the last of me and Sholmes together. Come on. How much of a tease would that be? We got to meet Sholmes for one case and then back to Japan for me. I never see him again. Or maybe he'll come to Japan. But this whole thing is about, like, you know, the mashing of, like, the British and the Japanese. So, like, come on. He's got to go to Great Britain. So you should get back to your cabin now. I'm guessing that Sasato's father is going to... Oh, they set up a little, like, memorial for him. I'm guessing that Susato's father is going to be like, well, we need to send a student, like, you know, with great prospects and, you know, potential to Great Britain. And now that Kazuma's gone, obviously, Ryunosuke has showed a lot of potential to be a good lawyer, so he's going to go in Kazuma's place. That's what's probably going to happen. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun, then. To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Aw, Susato. Susato-san? Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you'd returned. Oh, well, she's like, I wasn't going to take the sword. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. Aw. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Susato-san. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asoki-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. Oh, Hosonaga, if only you didn't like chicken. He might still be here. I've let everyone down. Or if only Kazuma did like chicken, this would have been okay. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now, at least. Huh? Ha ha ha. Surprised, Mr. Naruhodo? What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway, after all. Ha ha ha. He thinks this is funny? Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences. Look at him, he's being serious for a moment. The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. Oh, maybe Sholmes will be the one being like, I see great potential in you, Naruhodo. Maybe you can join me and be my partner. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. Oh, please tell me that at least Susato can come with me, right? Hosonaga, you can come too. You're cool. The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice. But yes! Okay, so, yes, as long as I take Kazuma's place, they can all come with me. We'll be buddies. Dream team. It was to be one lawyer, one assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Osoki's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no. I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. Okay, so I guess Hosanaga's not coming with. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but yeah, if he's working for the Scotland Yard, he can be like, I'll vouch for you. He's got a lot of sway. But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes. That's the pennies finally dropped. Miss Susato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? Oh, but you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... Maybe he can crash course, he's got a month, right? just study like mad in the month and get the qualifications. I'm sorry, in that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo, that's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learnt enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma, he said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato? Aww. There we go, there's a smile. I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No. It's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating. Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes, from the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector! After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next, and how best to make my report. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. Plus, what else do you have to do? It's the 1900s on a boat for 40 days. What else do you have to do? It would be a nice distraction, if anything. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd like you to take charge of this. Aww! What? Me? Are you sure? Ryunosuke will not look nearly as cool as Kazuma. You need a flowy headband. I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well. I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Mr. Sato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But, before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too. Goodness, what is it? Please, throw me to the ground. 3 times! Oh, okay, what? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should have never thrown you. Not just once, but 5 times. Well, don't I get to throw you 5 times then? That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No, I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. And that's when someone would come in and just watch me just throw this woman. They'd be like, abuser, abuser. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presumed that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujitsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the techniques of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. They're gonna make a good team. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Hiya! That's 6 times now. As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is when you learn... that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no. That was a Susato squash. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Kuruma. That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Isoge clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely? My Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Kuruma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Oh, of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. Maybe there's some sort of clue in his book? In his diary? Or maybe, because he's got the sword will guide him to what he has to do. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Alright, there we go. That is the end of the second case. Hopefully the third case will take place in a courtroom. I like the investigating, but... I did miss the actual courtroom stuff, so hopefully we'll get that next time. Alright guys, that will wrap it up for part 6 and the second case of this game. It's a little bit of a tragic, circumstances that it was an accident and not quite as, what's the word, satisfying as the first one, because the first one she was like a straight up villain. I hope we do get, some word on what happened with Giselle. Maybe she'll come back later in one of the other cases, or we'll find out like what happened to her. But overall, an interesting chapter. I mean, just alone for the introduction of Sholmes, and I'm so glad that him and Ryunosuke and Susato will be like a team. I'm really looking forward to the 3 of them together. Are going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and stay tuned next week for the beginning of Case 3. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Nana, Sparky, Tequila Mockingbird, Dumbass Loser, Derek Nickel, Harry Gazif, Asborn Kennedy, and Icognito.